Today is Ask Me Anything Friday. I am super stoked to help you out. I have curated a whole bunch of questions from our Discord, and I was just going through our chat as well, curating questions from there. So I'm going to go through the ones in our Discord first, and then while I'm doing that, go ahead and drop your questions into the chat, and I would love to answer your questions and help you out as best that I can. So first question from our Discord over here. I've been dropping them in the share your big wins section. That way I didn't lose them. Where were they at? And now I've lost the share your, or not share your big wins, the questions from you, this section here. I do want to start this out real quick. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I roll over because I usually wake up between 3 and 4, not on purpose. It's just what time Jesus wakes me up in the morning. And I look at my phone and I see, wait a minute, we got a sell signal on the SPY. Oh, that's interesting. 4 a.m. Central Time in the morning. Okay. And then I put this post out on our Discord at 4:04 a.m. local time. Sell signal plus bearish breath equals sit in cash and don't F up. Now we need your help to spread the news so that your friends and families don't F up. And I really appreciate how you guys did this sick and foo right there. And then just a couple minutes ago, because I hadn't looked at the market pre-market, the SPY is down 1.4% pre-market. Qs are down 1.75%. Trump is basically telling the world, here come the tariffs again. And it's like, whoa, did OVTLYR not prepare us for this? Did we not have advance warning for this? I've been telling you I got out of the market completely on Monday. Here we are on Friday. Stuff's hitting the fan. Right? OVTLYR is as close as trading with Nancy Pelosi as you possibly can get. And I am so stoked for you to see it in action, right? There were months where I said, hold cash while the market's going down. Then there was a very brief window of time where I said, now's the time to get busy. And I made 27% of my portfolio in the span of 6 trading days. And then it's back to cash. This is what I'm trying to reiterate to you over and over and over. All stocks are bad, but every once in a while they act right. Your job is to read the market. Your job is to execute when everything is set up. When the OVTLYR 9 is there, and it makes it so easy, the 9 itty bitty baby steps that you need to take to see if the market is set up in a way that is profitable. Earlier this week, that changed. Because of that change, we were in cash. We were sitting in cash and not effing up. And now the market's about to feel the golden toilet tweet. The golden toilet tweet. So that's where I wanted to start this today, is you had advance notice that stuff wasn't looking good. Right. So I'm going to go through these list of questions here that I was just curating for you. First is from Dave. He says, oh, hang on. Lawrence had a question. In your view, what makes the OVTLYR breadth indicator better than other breadth indicators? The buy-sell signals are clearly very powerful in OVTLYR. Dave says it detects subtle shifts in market sentiment. This tariff news is breaking today, but would have been discussed for a week in advance. There are people that watch for the signs of who's coming and who's going in the White House, discussions, comments made, and read the tea leaves, and moves money in advance of major policy shifts. Moves money in advance of these. Have you ever watched a stock where, like, you've probably heard the story. So somebody buying buttloads of stock before earnings, they have blowout earnings, and that person just happened to accidentally make so much money, right? They had advanced knowledge. OVTLYR is your basically insider trading knowledge. The market itself was an overbought territory, and from there it can only cool down. None of this is a surprise to me. OVTLYR detected the shift in market sentiment in advance yet again. The power that is the AI-generated signals are very different from other market sentiment, and then you compare them against each other, like the bull and bear list movements, you have one-of-a-kind indicators that are predictive in nature. This, I'm telling you, if you aren't following OVTLYR's market breadth, you are sleeping on the most powerful leading indicator I've ever come across. Am I jaded by that? Am I what is the word I'm thinking of? Am I being paid to say this? Kinda. But the deal is that I also got paid bigly by listening to this. I also got out of the way tremendously by listening to this. You could do the same thing. Nobody's stopping you but you. OVTLYR's 82 cents a day. Are you kidding? It's nearly free. This is unbelievably powerful. And I also helped create it, so I'm pretty proud of it. So thank you, Dave, for that. Let's continue on with these questions here. Questions from you. Who said this? The Edge of Creation said the OVTLYR market breadth is the closest thing to the Pelosi edition you can get. Yes, because it is, right? And I show this to you day after day after day. But the problem is that most of you still don't want to listen to Chris. Most of you say, who's this random guy on the internet? He doesn't know anything what he's talking about. He's such a scammer. He's so full of baloney. His videos are hot garbage. Why does he wear a hat inside? I cannot possibly give you any better information on a day-to-day basis. And guess what? I do it for free. For free. Hang on. I do it for free. It's your choice to listen and make money. It's also your choice to not listen and lose money. The choice is yours. You make the choices. I'm not making it for you. So this tweet came out apparently. I don't know how the OVTLYR bullish managed to predict Trump's Twitter fingers. I think the Golden Throne deserves a comeback in today's live stream for sure. The European Union, which has formed the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on this, has been very... I don't want to read all this. Point is, Trump's been tweeting again. We got out of the way before it happened. We also got in the market. We also got in the market right over here before the long weekend. Well, it wasn't a long weekend. Before the weekend where he was like, we're going to pause tariffs. Exploded higher. We got out before he decided to add more tariffs. Explodes lower. Isn't this crazy? Who said this? Dole's Dan says, wow, this is the last time I won't take market breadth more seriously. And it makes total sense, right? When you get more and more sell signals, what's the market going to do? The market will go down. When you get more and more buy signals, what's the market going to do? The market's going to go up. So yeah, you've got to stop sleeping on market breadth. Wiston Buffett says, hello, new here. Still getting my head around options and really encouraged to have both the tool and the rules to swing trade. Very cool. Has Chris confirmed his rules for stock as well as options trading? So, of course, everything that I do can apply to a stock. I just take it one step further with the leveraged investments of options. So everything that I do can apply to just the stock investment. For sure, why not? His R is much higher than I would normally go. So risk, right? I do 7% of my account per trade in risk, which is very high. I don't recommend that to people. But I had a conversation with Mark, the brains behind the OVTLYR algorithms. And I'm like, Mark, I want to position size as big as I can correctly. And we went back and forth on this. I actually thought I should go bigger, like 20, 23%. And he's like, you could, but you won't be able to take that many trades simultaneously. Totally right on that. So what we settled on is 7%. Because at 7%, then I can have more trades simultaneously working versus just a handful of trades working, right? So yeah, I do take bigger risks. And that is because my stops are very tight. I want to go in it with as big of a position as I can so that if I'm right, I can make as much as I can. But if I'm wrong, keep my stop really tight so that I just get out of the way. Do you sometimes take losses and then it turns around and it goes back up? Yeah, that's part of the game. You're never going to get around that. You're never going to get around getting stopped out and then watching it go. That's just part of the game. I reached out to him to join his scheme. I don't know what you mean by scheme. I feel like you might have encountered a Discord scammer. First off, I will never DM anyone. If you get a DM from somebody who looks like me, it is a scammer. They are impersonating me, and that is the reason why I do not DM anyone. So there's no confusing me with the scammer. If you get a DM on Discord from somebody who looks like me, it is not me. For sure, for fact. If for some reason I do need to DM somebody, because there's been a couple times I've needed to, I will put it in the general chat and I will tag you. I will say, I am going to send you a DM. Okay. So I don't know what scheme this is, but I'm glad you're here. Glad to help out. So looks like people were talking about deck stock. They beat on earnings and revenue. And then Johnny said, this is another reason why earnings reports, CEOs, fundamentals, and new products marketing is complete dog doo-doo. Just like Chris talks about. Nothing matters except the price of the trend. That's right. Got my bullhorn back.
Only. No, I can't say that anymore. Profits follow price. Profits follow price. And if the price is going to go up, you're going to get paid. If the price is going to go down, you're not going to get paid. And the fundamentals are useless, absolutely meaningless, because you're only going to get paid when the price is going up.
You're only going to get paid when the price is going up. Let's continue on here. So this person had a question. MT, in yesterday's OVTLYR University, you mentioned that having a larger ATR is better for movement. I thought having a lower ATR would be a safer trade. Or is the point just position sizing? Okay, this is actually a really good question. I appreciate you taking the time to think about that, MT. So a larger ATR means more volatility. More volatility is how you're going to get paid. If you get into a stock and it's ATR, the average true range, the average volatility over the last 14 days is 10 cents. It's not going anywhere. If the average volatility is $10, now we're talking. Now I can actually make some money here. So a larger ATR is great. It shows you more volatility. But larger ATR means you actually have to trade smaller because that volatility can work against you. But if you get in on the right side of the trend with the OVTLYR 9 all lined up, you can actually use that volatility in your favor. And like I talked about, taking the biggest position size you possibly can, but limiting your downside risk and make some real bank. So this is a really good question. I'm very, very impressed with the thought process there. This question came from Rigo82. Good morning. So you saw my 4 a.m. tweets because this was coming at 4:37, or not tweets. I don't do Twitter. I find Twitter to be hellaciously toxic, so I do not do it at all. Any post you see on there is done by my team. The only place you'll find me is on YouTube. This is my safe space. Good morning. What would happen if you shorted a company and it went to zero? Just a theoretical question. Well, if you short a company and you went to zero, you'd be making all the monies. You'd be making your literal maximum amount of profit. It's unlikely to happen, but that in theoretical terms, that's the best case outcome. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into the chat. And I'm going to try my very best to go through this in order. I really appreciate you guys being here and asking questions. I do this for you. And this is my very favorite part of the day, to be able to hang out with you. Patrick says, hello, everybody. Does anyone know if Chris uploads his daily hangouts? I don't see them on YouTube. For sure. Every day, we do 2 live streams. The morning hangouts, which we're on right now, and then the afternoon trading rooms. A lot of the times they're similar, but when I am trading, it is trading focused in the afternoon. But they're all in the YouTube catalog. Now, we did have a glitch going on yesterday. I'll be very honest with you. I had no idea my editor was out sick until around 11:30. I'm at the gym getting swole, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, why have we not released the first video? And I texted. So we have 3 other people who help with the YouTube channel. So I texted April, and I'm like, April, what's going on? And she said, Rudes, that's my editor. She's out sick. And I'm like, I had no idea. So then I had to come home and do the editing, and I completely botched it. I only got 1 video out yesterday because that is not my strong suit. I only do it in an emergency if something comes up. And I totally botched it yesterday. So that's what's going on. So the replay with Ferdinand is actually going to come out on Monday. That's what the plan will be for Monday. Because I messed it up. New Journey says, still learning lessons. Got to 90% cash. Old habits die hard. Dude, you're totally right. It is so difficult when you've done trading, investing, anything, playing golf, it looks like. It's so difficult if you have learned the wrong way to do it for years. to then stop doing the wrong way and change to do the right way. It's so difficult. I had to go through that myself. Like I went years selling options, thinking that was the smartest thing to do. And I had an 84% win rate, but I was still losing money. At the end of the year, I always had less than I did at the beginning of the year. And I had to think to myself, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep losing money? If I have an 84% win rate, why do I keep losing money? And it's because my losses were tremendously bigger than my wins, like 6, 8, 10 times as much. My losses were 6, 8, 10 times as much as my wins. Meaning, for every one loss, I now needed 6, 8, 10, 12 trades perfectly executed to make back for the one loss. It was never going to happen. So once I had that realization, that's when I started seeking out people like Steve Burns, started reaching out to market wizards, because my thought was, I want to learn from people who have actually made money in the markets, right? I'll say it. I normally don't say it, but the tasty trade style of trading is total dog shit. It does not work. They will show you endless studies after study after study about how great selling options is. But somehow I'm the one guy who couldn't make it happen. All of this theory, all this total garbage does not work. Well, I'll tell you what does work, what we show in the trading room. I'm living proof that you have to unlearn what doesn't work to learn what does work, and it's difficult, super difficult. Robert, if a trade drops below the 10 EMA in pre-market, would you wait for the end of day to close, thinking if it drops more than the ATR will close early? New rule for my plan. First off, I want to say, Robert, I really appreciate the fact that you actually included the part that it's for your plan. Brilliant. And this is what I always tell people: create your own plan. My plan works for me and it works great. Your plan needs to work for you, right? And part of that plan is figuring out things like this. Now, every rule in my rule set, and Minervini talked about this with me, every rule in this rule set comes from a real life circumstance that happened, and you're like, ooh, I didn't account for that. Let me add that to my rule set. Because there's going to be things that come along, like this, for example, where it drops below your 10 EMA pre-market, and you may not know what to do. Now, what I would say is find one time of day that you trade, whether it's on your lunch break, whether it's the end of the day, whether it's at 9:15 or whether it's at 1:37. Figure out what time of day works best for you, and then execute your decisions at that one time. Now, for me, it's the end of day, because then I don't have to worry about this. Could I lose less? Could I make more at different times of the day? Absolutely. But the last thing I'm going to be doing is sticking to a chart all day long. And I don't want that for you either. That's not a good life. So figure out what time works best for you first. And then after you go through this today, evaluate. Did this make sense? If it did, add it to your rule set. If it didn't, take a step back and say, okay, what could I have done differently? Right? Every trade is an opportunity to learn. If you win, it doesn't feel like you have to learn as much, but there's a lot to learn from your wins. But definitely when you lose, there's always that little voice in the back of your head, well, maybe I should do this or that. And you can't second guess yourself, right? Because taking a losing trade is part of the game. But if every time you take a losing trade, you completely rewrite your rules, you're never going to make money. It would be impossible because you're constantly changing your rules. David says, I wish I was sitting in cash and not effing up. That's okay, David. We'll do it next time. Ionic says, using this sit in cash and not effing up time to do some reading and work on my trading plan. That is exactly what I want you all to be doing. Is right now, while we're going to sit in cash and not F up, take this time to learn. Take this time to work on that plan. Take this time to paper trade. Take this time to look at charts and say, okay, if I do this, this, and this, Chris is right. Crazy. The dictator has spoken. Don't F up. We know FOMO says everyone needs a plan, a solid plan, an outlier plan. Absolutely. Now, your plans don't have to involve outlier, but it sure makes life a lot easier. It sure makes life a lot easier. Hopecast says this is clearly not a cult. This is clearly not a cult. If you're thinking that, then I am doing my job right. Then I am doing exactly the job that I need to do. Joy says, Chris, Listen, don't worry about the typos. It happens, especially when you're trying to type a YouTube comment. Don't stress on that. I do my very best to read them as best that I can. Chris, is you should buy higher and sell higher. Shouldn't we put 5% or higher in the screener? Your thoughts? Okay. I'm gonna assume you're saying Chris says that you should buy higher and sell higher for sure. Shouldn't we put 5% or higher in the screener? Your thoughts? Okay. Really, really good thought there, Shoy. Let's jump over to the screener and let's talk about what he's talking about here. So, by the way, 73 sell signals, 300 buy signals, 351 sell signals. Yesterday, 400 sell signals. And you think that you're such a genius that now's the time to buy when everybody else is selling. Chill the frick out. Chill the frick out. Not you, Shoy. You're cool. All right. Let's go over here to my screener. So to Shoy's point right here, price change, no selection. I normally do no selection. You can do like 3 months, 20% or more. I don't know why you do that, but you can. So to Shoy's point, he says maybe doing 5 days, 5% or more. That makes a lot of sense, dude, because that means you're already in the trend, right? But my caveat to that is, but if you do it like this, where you say, I only want to see something that's moved 5% or more in the last 5 days, imagine your outlier move has already started, and the outlier move ends up being 4.99%. You never even saw it. You never even had a chance. So I actually go with no selection. That way it's wide open, and I can catch all the outlier moves before they start taking off. Right? Great question, though. Ben, are ATR stop loss and roll levels? Okay, I got you. Our ATR stop loss, so half ATR down and 1 ATR and with 2 ATR up, right? Every ATR up is a roll level. Are supposed to remain fixed at trade open or change with the daily ATR, reference to trade price. So I mentioned this yesterday in the Outlier University that when you put a trade on, like right here on SMCI, it was 319 on the ATR value at that time. And when I got out, the ATR value was 324, right? So not really all that much happened in the span of a few days. Let's do Palantir. I got in, ATR value was at 728. ATR value when I got out was at 704. Let's look at SMCI. Oh, I did that one just a moment ago. Let's do AT&T. When I got in over here, it was 8150. When I got here, it was 7927. In my opinion, you can adjust this on a daily basis, but I don't think you have to. It's such a small change day after day that unless you're in it for like 6 months at a time, I wouldn't stress on it. I wouldn't stress on it. I would just set it at the very beginning and use that value. Will it change a couple pennies here and there? For sure. But like we're not trying to be, we're not trying to be so hyper focused on the itty bitty minutia details. What we want are the principles. What we want is to catch the wave. We don't want to say I can only catch the wave if the wave is that one wave right there. Oh wait, I missed it. It's gone. We're trying to catch the big wave, right? And that big wave is going to consist of little smaller waves, and all those little minutiae you don't have to stress about. So can you do it? For sure. Do you have to do it? I don't think you have to. Dr. J, do you all realize how Chris is the real deal and all those other lamos on YouTube don't know what they're doing? Chris has people making songs for him because of the trust and belief in Outlier. Thank you, Dr. J. And I have shown you week after week. Finally, the YouTube algorithm picked me up. I've been doing this. I have 2,000 videos on YouTube. And only now are you hearing of me. Only in 2025 are you hearing of me. I've been doing this for years. But I get dozens of comments a day. Chris, you have saved me X thousands of dollars. Chris, you have made me X thousands of dollars. The way you can pay me back is by telling other people what we do at Outlier. Because we do this for free. How much did this YouTube video cost you? Absolutely nothing. Maybe some data, right? Maybe some Wi-Fi, but that's it. That's it. And my favorite thing is not doing this behind a paywall. Could we do this behind a paywall? Yeah, Mahesh, our CEO, he really wanted all this behind a paywall. I'm like, no, dude, we want to help as many people as possible because like the more people we get to help, the more people learn about Outlier, the more people are going to sign up with Outlier, right? So we want to learn, we want to push this to as many people as possible. Do you have to use Outlier? No, but using Outlier sure makes things a hell of a lot easier. A hell of a lot easier. All right. I'm going to start working on the questions in the chat. Please continue to do that. Some YouTubers, thank you, Peter. That's actually a great great idea. Some YouTubers ask to put a hashtag Q before a question. Makes it easier for you to identify questions. If you want to do that, by all means, go for it. But you don't have to. And also, please never feel like you need to send me a super chat. There's a YouTuber that I like to watch. He talks about YouTube channels, how to make your YouTube channels great. He has great information, but he really grosses me out on the way that he does chat, because he is all about, if you pay me super chat, I'll talk to you. If you don't pay me super chat, it's like you don't exist. And I find that gross and disgusting. I don't want you to feel like that with me. Please never feel obligated ever to send me a super chat, because I do this for you. Esteban says, forget fundamentals and technical analysis. All you need is truth, social, and Trump. So you can make money. Exactly. Tom says, can you explain what happened with the market breadth for Otis between April 21st and May 21st? So market breadth on Otis elevators. I have a family history with Otis elevators. My dad and my uncle both worked for the Otis Elevator Company way back in the day. They were both also in the Navy too. I don't know if that had to do with it. My uncle was stationed on the USS Lexington, which is stationed now in Corpus Christi. And this is so cool. In the USS Lexington, there is a Boy Scout camp. In the barracks of this retired aircraft carrier is a Boy Scout camp. Like it's roped off. Nobody can access it except for the Boy Scouts. That is so stinking cool to me. I've had the opportunity to stay there, and it was so amazing because my uncle, he was in battle on that, and then my sons got to experience, just one night overneath, or not overneath, but one night in the barracks on that. That's so cool to me. What a neat thing. Totally off topic. All right. April 21st to May 21st on Otis. So this is Otis Elevator right here. April 21st started here. All right. So on April 21st, there was a little dip in the industrials sector. So this was your question. It's happening to market breadth for Otis. So it's in the industrial sector. So I'm assuming you're talking about the breadth for that stock in that sector. I can't imagine what else you're talking about, but we'll look at it. And then breadth got really strong for a hot minute. And then on May 21st, probably what you're talking about here. Yeah, it had that crossover back under. So what happened to breadth is that there were a lot of industrial buy signals during this time, and then it crossed under. Now, what you're looking at right here, the green background shows how many stocks in this sector had bullish overlays. Bullish overlay means that the outlier trend template is green. So the 10 over 20 price over 50. A red overlay means the 10 is under the 20, price is under the 50. And you can see during that time, more and more and more did this green bar get stacked over here. In fact, it looks like it was like nearly all of them at that point. And then it started to come back down, right? So that sector was super strong. Lots of buy signals combined with lots of bullish overlays, meaning lots of bullish trends right there. That's what you see. Now, for the stock itself, it didn't do a whole lot. It really didn't. But also, between those 2 points here, right, it was in a downtrend, and then you can see it was in a sideways trend, and it went sideways. Now it got a little bullish trend going on, and a buy signal, and then it's got a sell signal come out right here. So quite a lot happened. Quite a lot happened. But not for the stock. It pretty much went sideways during that time. David says, is it possible to add ATR to the outlier graphs at some point? So that's one of the things we're doing. Part of our upgrades is adding all the indicators to outlier. Like every indicator you can imagine is going to be available in outlier. We just have to code them in one by one. So it's coming. I can't tell you when, but it's coming. Am I doing bailouts? Am I going to give you a bailout? I effed up and did not sit in cash. No, Theo, I won't bail you out this time, but I will tell you, learn from it. Learn from it, my dude. What's up, Nate? Any thoughts on Alphabet? Yeah, it's got 26 letters, starts at A and ends at Z. I mean, that's my thought on the alphabet. No, I'm just joking. I'm not buying anything right now. So if you're holding alphabet, it could get rough. I'm just gonna put that. I don't even have to look at a chart to know that when the sell signal's on the SPY and the market breadth is bearish, I don't have to look at it. There's not a stock in the world that I would buy, even with your money. Carol, sitting in cash with no stress, spending time learning about options. Outstanding. Sarah, thanks for your charts. I made money using your chart trading stocks. Outstanding. I'm still learning to do options. I have a lot since I joined you. I'll spread the word. Thank you, Sarah. That means a lot to me. Cheers to you. Everybody pay respects to Sarah in the chat. Everybody type Sarah in the chat. Sarah. It's Sarah with an H. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate you. Outlier superior to Pelosi. She's still holding her positions. The 9 itty-bitty baby steps. Thanks, Corey. Dr. J says, my job is to watch Crucial and my bank account grow. I was having a conversation with my younger son, Elliot, this morning. So I went to his little learning celebration. You know, he's 10, he's graduating 4th grade, moving into 5th grade. Today is their last day of 4th grade. And I went over and went to a little learning celebration on Wednesday. And every kid in there, except for 2, said they want to be a professional athlete of some sort. I want to be a football player. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a soccer player. I want to be a baseball player, right? Including my son. And I was like, bro, did nobody want to be a YouTuber? That's so weird. Nobody wants to be a YouTuber like your dad? And I was like, dude, my job is making money. And I'm really good at making money. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to do this. Orlando, how do you typically monitor and exit open trades when your rules are getting hit during the day? My rules only apply at the end of the day, right? To that point that I was making earlier, you can trade anytime during the day, but I choose to only trade at the end of the day. And of course, there will be times where it goes through my stop. It'll also come back, right? We saw that a couple times last week. But of course, for me, part of my rule set is trading at a certain time. So you're gonna have to make that decision for you. And I know it's tough, right? I know it's tough watching your stops get hit and you're like, oh no, what am I supposed to do? Dude, I know it, right? But also, if you follow your plan and you know what time you're going to make the trade anyway, then the price will be what the price will be at that time. I know it's so laissez-faire, but there's going to be a point where you've made peace with your rules so much that the rules are going to be what the rules are going to be, right? The outcome will be what the outcome will be. I don't have an expectation on what the outcome will be. I just know I'm going to follow my rules. Shane says, Chris, can you go over some of your early stages of FOMO when you're first getting into this? One thing that I didn't suffer with is revenge trading. I know that that's really common where it's like, oh, I lost on trade A. On trade B, I have to trade twice as big, and I'm not going to make a plan. I just have to get my money back right away. I didn't really struggle with that. Thankfully, I didn't. But I know that that's ultra common. I'll tell you, the hardest thing for me for years was taking the loss, and it probably is for you and everybody else watching. Like when you see a stock, let's use an example. Let's use SMCI because I recently took a loss on SMCI. Right? For years, if I saw this candle right here, I'll circle it for you so we can all know exactly what I'm talking about. If I saw this candle right here hitting my exit point, I'd be like, you know what? I'll give it another day. Down. I'll give it another 50 cents to find out if I'm right. Down. Man, okay, listen, it can't go down any further. So I'll just give it one more day. Once it comes back up, I'll take it off the table. Down. This is such a perfect example. But by following my rules, I got out of the way. Right? It is absolutely this slide right here that I struggled with most of all. This was my biggest, hardest lesson that I had to overcome. Knowing you should sell your stock when it turns down, but you don't because you're afraid that it's going to turn back up and go without you. But what happens is you get caught in a move like this. And that's why I said earlier, my 6, 8, 10, 12x losses versus my wins, this is what would happen. This is what would happen. Dude, that's, for me, that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. David, looking at the market breadth yesterday pushed me to 75% cash. Outlier just saved him thousands. Outstanding, David. Thanks for sharing, man. Tell everybody you know. Carol, could I could tell from the 4 market stages. So I got out before the breadth turned bearish. So thanks for that. Absolutely. So Carol's talking about the 4 market stages right here. Stage 1 is the consolidation. Stage 2 is the move up. This is the one where everybody gets super stoked, super excited, right? They go and tell all their friends because they actually caught the stage 2. Stage 3 is the top, where the moving averages are crossing over, where it's no longer going up anymore, but people are like, it's fine, it'll come back. Complacency. And then 7, 8, 9, this is stage 4. This is stage 4. Now, before you say, oh, that's only theory, that's not real. That's not a real thing, Chris. Let's look at Tesla over the last few months. Right, before you go and tell me that you're so much smarter than me and that's not a real thing, I feel like this and this and this and this are the same chart, because it really does happen this way. It really does. Brett says, so true. I missed that last bit on the qubits move, but I have no FOMO. Dude, having that plan, it removes your FOMO. Skinny buff guy, do we need to update the 40-30-30 to 60-20-20? I don't think so. I mean, the slingshot setup actually came from what's his name? So he's a big trend follower, owner of the New York Mets, Ryan. What is his name? Hang on. Hold tight. I'll tell you where I got it from. What's his name? Steve Cohen. I don't know why I thought Ryan. Steve Cohen actually came up with this. So he is actually one of the market wizards that 40% of your move is due to the market, 30% is due to the sector, and only 30% is due to the stock itself. And bro made billions of dollars, enough to buy the New York Mets. I have no desire whatsoever to own a sports team. The last thing I want to do is own a sport. I don't care about sports at all. But trading could potentially get you there one day. Sounds crazy, but that's what happened to him. Corey says, what triggers on a stock to buy or sell signals an outlier? Is it just the EMA crossovers, a combination of breadth, or what in general? Dude, there's so much that goes into it. I actually asked Mark if there was something that I could share, because a lot of people have been asking that recently. He said, absolutely not. There's nothing you can share. But what you can do is tell people to go to outlier.com and check out this flow chart. This flow chart talks about how it works, right? Talks about how outlier works. So that would be where I would direct you to. Just, it's on the outlier homepage, shows you everything you'd want to know. Michael, new outlier here. Cheers to Michael. I'm adopting your rules. You don't have to, but it's a good place to start. They are now my plan. Outstanding. I hope you would clarify heat map stall. Does a flat move define a stall or only a decline? Cool. So when I first made that rule, we didn't have the clarity that we have now in outlier. So we used to just have it as whole numbers over here. And so on a day where it'd be like 69 on one day and 69 the next day, that would be considered a heat map stall. But I actually have seen it once since we now have the 2-digit numbers. But a stall means like if it's going up and then it stops going up, right? If it's going, here's a better example. If it's going up, stops going up. So 80-49, 80-27, that would be a stall out point, and that would be an exit point for me. That would be an exit point for me. Great question, though. Antonio, do you share ratio buying calls, buying puts? My ratio is I take whatever the market gives me. I bought a couple puts earlier this year, but that was the first puts I bought since 2022. Legit. And that's not because I don't want to. That's because the market hasn't handed that opportunity to me, right? I'm not going to tell the market what it has to do. I'm just going to listen. I think you should too. Cassandra, I don't follow the angry orange. What was that about tariffs today? I don't know. You can Google it, my friend. Barney, my favorite section of outlier chart is the master key section. Very cool. So for those of you who don't know, the master key is up here. The master key is something that we figured out middle of last year, and it was crazy when we figured it out. Gangbusters gains after that point. It starts with the SPY signal, either a buy or sell signal. Then the market trend. Is it a bullish trend or a bearish trend? Then the market breadth. Is breadth growing or falling? And then lastly, the sector breadth. So the master key shows right here. And it's really cool because it's got little JC in the chat, or JMac. I don't know if he's here. He helped us with this. It's got a little thing up here for bullish or bearish, and it'll actually have a little unlock logo when it's unlocked. But when it's locked up both ways, the cash is trade. The cash is trade. Or sorry, the trade is cash. That's what I meant to say. The trade is cash. The cash is trade too. Yeah, that works. So the SPY signal is a sell, meaning do not buy anything. But if you go on the bearish side, SPY signal of sell means, hey, you know what? Your market trend is bullish. So because the market trend is bullish, it wouldn't light up on the bearish side. It would light up on the bullish side. Now, the breadth for the sector and the market for this particular stock, the industrials, is bearish. So that would light up over here. So, dude, within like a moment's glance, you could look over here and say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, we got a unlocked master key over here. Very cool. Now, the master key fits in the outlier 9. Master key is 1, 2, 3, 4 of the outlier 9. But I was going through this one day, and I was like, how many things do I look at? And I was counting them up, and I was like, I look at 9 things. Okay, that's really not that much, is it? Right? You can evaluate a stock with 9 different data points, and if all 9 are lit up, that's a strong buy. If none of them are lit up, that'd be a strong sell. And then somewhere in between. And so you can decide, looking at this, right? Because the slingshot setup we just talked about a minute ago, 40% of the move is due to the market. So you look at the trend, the signal, and the breadth. 30% of the move is due to the sector. So you look at the fear and greed and the breadth. And the last 30% is due to the stock. So you look at the trend of the stock, the signal, if it's buy or sell, the fear and greed, and then any outlier blocks on the chart. All of this together gives you the slingshot setup. And it works. And it works. It's crazy. Random guys, all ears. Yush, what's up, dude? Yush is such a rock star that he had a chat comment one day that I have saved permanently. I have permanently saved, and we'll always reference back to this. Right there, Yush. I don't know when you said that, but you're such a rock star. I really appreciate you, my friend. Okay, to Yush. Is performance summary and outlier, buy and hold versus outlier, based only on the buy and sell signals, or is there some magic involved? No, it's just the buy and sell signals. Now, we actually took it a step further to make it realistic, because the buy and sell signals come at the end of the day, right? 10:30 p.m. West Coast time. What we did was we said, okay, nobody's going to be able to transact at 10:30 p.m. But what they can do is somewhere in between the close of the day of the signal and then the following day, somewhere between that point, we actually take the average. So it's not best case scenario. It's actually realistic scenario. Pretty cool, right? So to that point for Yush, and I don't know how good this performance summary is going to be. So this is not cherry picking. 52%. 52% in outlier versus buy and hold at 33.82. And that's only following the buy and sell signals on the chart. It doesn't even include the overlays, the bullish backgrounds or moving averages or anything. That's just the buy and sell signals. Justin, the cost of outlier is a tiny fraction of the money I've been able to make and save using outlier. Outstanding. Justin, listen, I really appreciate you saying that, right? It's one thing for me who's involved with the company to say that. It's another thing for you to say that. So Justin, thank you. I really appreciate it, my friend. Brand says, I listen and I made money. Squat Toast, any unique market insights on how to trade in a downtrending market? Easy. You know where I'm going with this, by the way. It's the soon to be trademarked, soon to be copyrighted outlier 9. If everything lights up red, bro, there's your short signals. There's your short signals. But in the meantime, don't push it. In the meantime, sit in cash and don't F up. Okay? Don't get excited. Sit in cash and don't F up. Hang on. Got to scroll down. I lost my scroll here. Hang on. David says, I tried selling options for years. I broke even to a small loss. See, I'm not the only guy, but there are trading educators on YouTube who want to make you believe that if you buy an option, you are absolutely stupid. Absolutely ignoramuses. I think the real issue here is the breakdown of what theta does, right? I understand when I buy an option that my option will decay. I get that. I understand that. So in my plan, I try and minimize that. I try and minimize that by saying I only want to pay 20% or less extrinsic value. The part of the option that will decay, I only want to spend as little as I can. So I buy deep in the money options around the 80 delta. Now, understanding that the options will decay is one thing. I know that it'll decay 1 to maybe 3% a day. But if my stock is not moving, the delta, the amount of the delta is how much the option changes for $1 change in the underlying stock. I have an 80 delta. That is tremendously bigger. Way more bigger. Way hugely. It is hugely bigger. Joe Biden wishes he had an 80 delta just like me. 80 delta is so much more important than the itty bitty baby theta decay that you're going to see. The point is to get in and get out. Now, the insidious nature of selling options, and insidious is the exact right word for this, is that they allure you in with high win rates, but you have to hold on to it for that itty bitty move that I don't care about to work for you. Okay? Because when you sell an option, you have to have time pass. You have to have time pass in order to make money. It is non-negotiable. For me, if I'm buying the option and it doesn't work, I just get out of the way. For you who sold the option, if you want to be profitable, you got to hold that hot garbage. And even when it's working against you, you're not going to get paid until every day ticks past. Dude, it freaking sucks. But thanks, David. I really appreciate you. Let's see. Arnold says, Chris, I want to eventually quit my 9-to-5 job. Hey, you know what, dude? I literally just did that this year. Congratulations. I worked in corporate finance from 2009 until March. Yeah, it was March of this year. And it was something I was scared to do. I mean, I had the money, but I was just scared to leave corporate life. And it was the greatest thing I ever did. Greatest thing that ever happened to me. And the reason that it happened to me was they're like, so I worked in corporate finance, but I'd worked from home for years since COVID. And they're like, Chris, you're going to have to start coming back in the office one day a week. And I'm like, I don't know about that. So I worked in consulting, and my job was to work with credit unions to show them how to reduce risk and make more money. Sound familiar? Yeah. So I did that for 12 years. And they said, you're going to have to come in the office on Tuesdays. And I was like, why? That's stupid. I am amazing at my job and I do it from home. What in God's green earth why would you want me to be in the office 20% of my week? That's so dumb. So I told my boss, I'm like, listen, I'm not coming in. It's just not going to happen. So either you make an exception for me or I'm bouncing. And he's like, Chris, we can't make any exceptions. And I said, then I'm gone. But there's no reason for me to drive into the office to do this. No reason. Had he not said that, I'd probably still be doing it today. But praise Jesus, my prayers were answered in a way so much better than I ever could have asked for. So I'm so grateful that it worked out in that way. But to your point, right? Quitting your 9-to-5 is scary, right? You need money in the bank, right? And that was my saving grace, is that I had money in the bank. So if I left, I knew I'd get by. I knew I'd take care of my family. But that jump is scary. It's really, really scary. I want to eventually quit my 9-to-5. I'm in the process of developing my trading plan, but I'm curious as to how you schedule your day on it. Bro, give me a break. I'm not going to give you an hour-by-hour schedule, but I'll tell you what I do. I have this little clipboard that I keep with me all the time. This is when I make morning videos. This is when I go to the gym. After I get back from the gym, I work on things, right? And then I have my, I told you I wasn't going to give you my daily schedule. And here's my literal daily schedule. And then I work on the trading room in the afternoon. And today I have to record a video for Sunday that'll come out. And then I got to work with my editors to make sure that everything's lined up for Monday, as well as everything that's coming out today. Right. So even though I don't have a day job anymore, YouTube is my full-time job. My title for OVTLYR is Chief Marketing Officer. My job is to make sure that as many people as possible realize just how amazing OVTLYR is. The easiest way to do that is by making content that people want to watch, right? Like this, like nearly 400 people are watching this right now, which is super cool. Nobody would be watching this if I didn't help them save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So yeah, there you go. And then trading is just like this much of my day. I know it sounds crazy, but trading is this much of my day because I have my plan. And this probably seems impossible to most people. that trading is this much of my day. But I have my plan. I review what's coming through on the day. And on a day like today, all I have to do is sit in cash and not F up. So that makes it easy. And then I'll follow my plan. So hour by hour, just fill the day with what makes you happy, my friend. It feels good to sit in cash when the market's going down. Yeah, for sure. Oh, scheme is a British word for a business venture. Well, in America, it has a very different connotation. That's really funny. Well, I would look at shorting anything at this time, but only if the Outlier 9 lights up, and it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. And then everybody paid respects to Sarah. That's how far back I am. I'm 18 minutes behind at this point. Little Evan says, I went to cash my 401k and I'm really happy about the signals. Outstanding. Okay. Antonio, example question. If you bought deep in the money calls 21 days out, which is what I like to do, on day 2, intrinsic value is 0. It's impossible. Sell for extrinsic now or wait. So if on day 2, the intrinsic value is 0, that means your stock has crashed, right? Because we're going deep in the money. We're going multiple percentage points in the money, 5, 8, 9, 10% points in the money. If there is no intrinsic value, your stock has been plummeted overnight. And then you would definitely be hitting your exit point. 8-ball card says, about to join Outlier, outstanding. Just wondering what time of day you put in your trades in the Discord. So I don't trade all that much. Dude, hang on. I'll tell you exactly how many trades I've made this entire year. Today is almost June. May 23rd, I have made all of, hold tight. I've made all of 12 trades. I've made 12 trades so far this year. 12 trades, that's it. But I've made a lot of dollars on those 12 trades, let me tell you. This is how trading is supposed to be done, right here, right? I don't need to be trading all day every day to make unbelievable returns. My annualized return right now is 85%. Now, will there be more trades set up in the second half of the year? I don't know, right? I have no idea. But when they set up, I will be there. So to answer the question, what time of day? I only trade in the afternoons, like I mentioned earlier. The Discord is great, but it is very overwhelming. I pop in there every once in a while. But I can't sit in there and monitor it because it gets really overwhelming. Everybody's tagging me, asking me a million questions. So this is why I do this on Fridays. This is fun. This is way more fun to me than typing all the answers out. Patrick says, not having a consistent plan, i.e. an outlier plan, is like strapping on 2 stakes in your body and swimming in the Amazon River. Okay, I love it. Wes White says, how is MACD different from EMAs? Well, MACD is EMAs. MACD means moving average convergence divergence. And normally, I think it uses the 12 and 26 EMAs, right? And so what MACD is doing, hey, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about. What MACD is doing is it's measuring the convergence where they're getting closer or the divergence of those 2 moving averages. So MACD is moving averages. There you go. Chris, do you do anything on the open, like taking off risk? No, just I trade at the end of the day. Alan is the man, not me. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Would love to dig deeper into the rules. Is that coming out now at OVTLYR University? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm teaching everything that I know in OVTLYR University. We are 4 classes deep, 4 out of 18 classes. Just this week, did we really start getting into like all the goodness, all the good gravy. In fact, we were having dinner with some family friends last night, and they didn't know that I was doing OVTLYR University, and their older son is going into high school this year, and he really likes finance and stuff. And we've talked in the past about how this is what I do, but when I told them how we're doing OVTLYR University, their ears picked up like, whoa, you're teaching everything? Yeah, why not? What do I have to hide? What do I have to benefit by making you go to my master class, right? By making you pay $84,000 a year? Bro, no, that doesn't help me at all. That doesn't help you at all. How about I just give it to you for free? Right? It's not going to hurt me. It's only going to help me. It's only going to help you. Yeah, why not? He's explaining what I did exactly over the last week. Very cool. Let's see. Learning 101 says, this is me. It's hard to take a loss. Yeah, dude, it is really hard. And it's hard because you're removing the possibility of it coming back, right? You're cutting off your hand. You're saying it's never going to come back. I have to get out. And then you're acknowledging the fact that you are wrong. So you heard from two angles. One, you're losing money, and two, nobody wants to be wrong. That's not fun. So I get it. Let's see. Henry, really good question. Why don't you do shorts or puts when the signals are bearish? This is a tremendous question. So Henry, when a stock is going up, let's do I have one here? When a stock is going up and it gets a sell signal, like right here, could you take it as a short? You could. But I look at it as a bullish trend. This would be a buy to open, sell to close. Okay. So when a stock is moving up, let's do Coke. When a stock is moving up and you get a sell signal, that's not a sell to short. That is a sell to close. Because when you take a sell signal inside of an uptrend right here, I mean, that would have been a decent short, but you're trading against the tide, right? You're trying to stand on the tracks while it's going up. Here's a better example. The buy signal came here. The sell signal came here. Buy signal came here. Sell signal came here. Buy signal came here. Sell signal came here. Now, this is a buy to open. This is a sell to close, meaning I no longer want this, right? This is buying your Coca-Cola at the 7-Eleven and then sell, meaning you just finished that Coke. It was delicious. Your Coke Zero, your cherry Coke Zero, and then you threw it in the garbage. I no longer want this anymore. This is, oh, you know what? I'm really thirsty again. I'm going to go get a new cherry Coke Zero from 7-Eleven and then sell. I'm done with this. Throw this one in the garbage, right? So can you short those? For sure. Should you? Whoo, no way. Hot dog, no. Hot doggity, no. Let's see. Mirko says, thanks, you two, for bringing me here in February. Thanks for Chris for making it so simple. I have to thank myself for taking the OVTLYR subscription. For sure, dude. And I appreciate that, right? I appreciate you saying that you had to commit. You had to commit, right? You, Mirko, you had to make that decision of, I can continue to do this the way I used to. I could continue to do this where I'm not making money. I could continue to do this where I get frustrated. I can continue to do this where I watch all these YouTubers who talk about this one stock will get you a millionaire and you only have to put $75 into it. You made the decision to cut off that and go with something that really works, is really demonstrated, and is really traded with, and makes real money. And that was a really brilliant decision. So Mirko, congratulations to that. Alberton says, I should buy the kids' football team and take it to the MLS. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't survive there. Dole's Loan, or let's see if I get it right. Dolus Loan. I'll go with that. Dolus Loan. Dolus Loan. I'm from Texas. I'm doing my best here. Was it repeated losses that finally got you to follow your rule? Or was there something specific you remember that finally let you take the L based on your plan? Was it repeated losses that got you to finally follow your rule? I think it was looking back at those trades like SMCI. Right. What got me to finally follow the rule was looking back at trades like this. Hold tight. Let me zoom in. And saying, man, that was so stupid of me. If only I had followed the rule that I created, I would have done so much better. In fact, Larry Hite, one of the first $1 billion hedge fund managers, I got to work with him, one of the market wizards. He specifically said to me, he said, if you create this plan and then you don't follow it, you might as well just throw it out the window. Just wad it up, throw it in the garbage can, because it's worthless. If you can't even follow your own plan, your plan is meaningless. That really hit me hard. That was a good one. Alan says, I got out yesterday because of OVTLYR. Outstanding work. Oh, Sarah says it's great for beginner investors. Thank you. But I'm glad to hear that. And thank God I found you, Sarah. Thank God I found you. Oh, Luca is not. Luca is the name of Manny's little grandbaby. Chris, all babies born in 2025 through 2028 will get the Trump MAGA account of $1,000 automatically. Wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Just got to get them in the 9 itty bitty baby steps. That's right. So does that mean Luca will have that? Congratulations to Luca. Question from Steve. Can we get the OVTLYR 9 add the outliers similar to the master key section? I think so. I think actually what I would rather have is over here, just remove everything and put OVTLYR 9. Give me one checkbox. Does this fit OVTLYR 9? And then it'll pop through what fits in OVTLYR 9. I would rather have that. Then I can see all of them at once. Of course, this. Why not make a small graphic based on the OVTLYR 9, making the slingshot a visual of greens and reds and automatic? That sounds cool. You know what I try to do is I try to get ChatGPT to make me look like an angry bird with the little slingshot pulled back as if I were the angry bird. Didn't quite work out, but I like the idea. Klaus says, I really saved a lot by looking at the market breadth before the market went down again. Dude, I'm telling you, market breadth is such a hack. Such a hack. Oh, Fandel Ray. I'm really trying here. Fandelary. I'm trying. Fandelary says, I made a YouTube account just to express my gratitude. Outstanding. Thank you for that. Other YouTubers have no system rooted in logic, and you made this easy to understand. Well, thank you, man. The way that you can pay me back is just by telling other people. Just by telling other people. Let them know. Shane says, I'm trying to trade my way out of plumbing. I want my time back. I want your time back too. I want your time back too. Aussie says, I'm afraid I'm addicted to this channel. Coach Chris's clipboard. Actually, I have, this is really cool. It's like a whiteboard clipboard. If I show it right now, the green screen is going to mess it up. But it has a soccer field on it, and the soccer season's over right now. But I like to write the positions, like where the kids go on there. So then I'll hold it up and I'll say, do you have any questions? And it's like, how obvious can I make this where you're supposed to play? Oh, Christopher says, I stopped my 9-to-5 2 weeks ago to pursue my once side, now full-time venture, Flat Rock Property Services LLC. Congratulations, Christopher. That's awesome. Mikey Mike says, kind of off topic, how many days a week to go to the gym? I go to the gym immediately following this. In fact, like legit, I'm gonna take my pre-workout and then I'm gonna go following this. So I'll be there in 10 minutes from now. But I do it 5 days a week, right? It's just, to be successful in things, you have to create the consistency in your daily routine. Trading is a great example. I show up every day at 2 p.m. Central Time because that is my routine. Going to the gym is a great example. I lost 60 pounds this last couple of years. I'm in the best shape of I have abs. I'm 39 years old, and I look so much better than I did at 29. So much better than I did at 19, and I'm at 39, and it's crazy. I am so proud of that. But I had to go every day. And I still go every day because I've made it a part of my daily routine. And if my wife calls and she's like, Chris, will you please go get me some, lunch? Please bring me lunch. And it wrecks my gym routine. I get so mad. Not at her, but it's like, my wife says I'm on the autism scale slightly. And one of the things I do not like to give up is my daily schedule, since we talked about my daily schedule earlier. And my gym time is part of my daily schedule. So when that gets rocked, it really messes with me. But I've been that way for years. Exactly. I'm not going to show you my schedule, but here's what I do, right? Because that's part of my spectrum, I suppose you could say. All right, let's see. We'll start wrapping up here. I love hanging out with you guys. This is so much fun for me. Let's do one more question. Hold tight. Manny has one giant ab. Hey, here's a great question. Why has everyone not smashed the like button? That's a really good one. Looking through the questions here. Other YouTubers search literally hundreds of thousands of what you're providing. I know. It's very true. but you don't have to, right? If their business model, here's the deal. Their business model is clearly selling whatever they got to sell. My business model is making as much money as I possibly can in the markets. And in the meantime, showing you how I do it. So 82 cents a day makes a hell of a lot of sense. Thanks, Surfing Bird. So listen, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, be sure you head on over to OVTLYR.com and click one of these 2 videos. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you this afternoon.